And we're back to Talkin Money. And here's Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, or you can text us at 44-1140. Our quiz question is still out there. It is not Putin and Russia.
Do you want me to give a hint?
Well, let's give the quiz question again.
Quiz question is, this front runner has pledged 75% tax bracket for those making over €1 million.
Okay.
Euro.
So think,
remember that?
Think bad attitudes.
Think salty McDonald's. Okay. Let's see. All right. So 75% tax bracket on the wealthiest over €1 million.
He's one leading the country. All social engineering there. So
That's right.
We'll let that hang out there a little bit more if you want to jump in. Donna brought up, was our caller on the last hour, or the last break, brought up the some experiences she's having with her daughter 21 years after, well, kind of ignoring her student loans. The collection agency caught up with her, and not only did they catch up with her, they caught up with her with all the accrued interest plus penalties, and now that she has a good job, are really laying the wood to getting their money back. So we sent Donna a pair of passes to the Dial M for Murder, which is the suspense theater show now made famous by the big screen Alfred Hitchcock movie at the Sacramento Theater Company, now in their 70th year of production in downtown Sacramento. Dial M for Murder started on Wednesday, leap year day. They started on my birthday. It's kind of a celebration thing for them, I think. Running through March 25th. So we'll send Donna a pair of passes to that. We'll have one more later in the show as well. Off the text line, let's see here. Oh, we've got our little text question hanging out there, and you can either give me a call if you like. We had a few callers, or you can text us at 44-1140. The question was, do you think we should allow, as if we had any choice, but we should allow bankruptcy courts to write down or principal reductions on primary residence mortgages, would include any sort of modification in there. So should we allow one judge to modify mortgages for individuals on their primary residences, or should we leave it in its current state where they have to deal with their existing lender or basically lose the house entirely? So before I give you my response, I'll let that hang out there a little bit longer at 44-1140. Off the text line, hell no, what are we in Russia? Whatever happened to personal responsibility? Okay, from the 916, people need to make their bed and lay in it when it comes to finances. All the judge is doing is further perpetuating the entitlement people already have. Okay, so that's 2 no's. Off the text line, Jeff, it's funny you're making fun of homeowners accessing their equity like a machine. Wasn't your old company called ATM Mortgage? Yes, it was. Touche. And I used to run big. We had one of my favorite big banners was a big banner that had a big yacht on it and all the different fun things you could do with the equity in your home, and that was the sign of the times. I probably still have that banner somewhere. It might be worth some money now. So, touche from the 916. Yes, it was called ATM Mortgage. That's not how we came up with that name, but nonetheless, that was the thought. So there you go. Good memory. That jingle we created must be sticking in someone's head, or you're just a nasty competitor. One of the two. Either way, that's good for you. Hey, I do want to give a little reminder for the Hellwig Winery, because we're gonna be up there tonight, and this weekend is there. God, I can't think of the name of it. The whole area has that open. I just went blank on the name. It's like a total party for all of the vineyards up there this weekend. They've got bands going, and it's kind of like their season kickoff for the wine season, and so all of the Plymouth wineries have something going on this weekend. But we'll be up checking out the Hellwig Winery tonight in Plymouth, California. That's in the picturesque Shenandoah Valley. And pull up their website, Nick. I'll do it during the next break too. Sure. But they have a really phenomenal concert series coming up, and I don't mean just one guy. I know Craig Chiquiso is coming, but they have some very good bands. And when you go up there, you look at they have this huge amphitheater that kind of looks out over the valley, an outdoor amphitheater. So as the weather starts to warm up, we'll be giving away some concert tickets to their concert series this summer. But just a phenomenal place to go up and hang out and have some lunch. Bring her some lunch with you. You can do that at Hellwig. And Hellwig at Dusk on Friday nights is their concert series too. You can find them at Hellwig, which is HELWIG winery.com. And I'll have Nick pull up their site, and we'll announce some of the kind of the concerts they got coming up during the next break as well. I did see a couple things that were caught my eye this week, and I've got this email probably 10 times, if not more. Jeff, are you aware that with the new Obamacare plan, if you sell your house in 2012, you will pay a 3.8% sales tax on it? So I've gotten this email a bunch of times. So there's a 3.8% sales tax on the sale of your home. This is the email. The answer is that's not entirely correct. There is not a 3.8% sales tax on the sale of your home unless Congress did approve and the president did sign a bill authorizing a 3.8% tax on the capital gains of a real estate transaction if you exceed the threshold of 250 or 500 grand. So as you know, and we talked about this with our CPA the other day, if you're a single individual and you sell your single family, your primary residence, you can, there's a waiver, as long as you lived in it 2 out of the last 5 years, there's a waiver of 250 grand for an individual or 500 grand for a couple on the gain you make on that house, which right now is almost unheard of. But there was a time when people made gains. There will be times again. But what the Obama health care bill did, or it was in that same bill, is it said if you exceed that amount, you make more than 250 or 500, there will be a 3.8% tax on the capital gains portion of that amount above 250 or 500. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So it's getting routed around. Everybody's saying you just have to pay 3.8% tax on the sale of your house. That's not accurate. It's on the capital gains portion above the
and when was that? If you sold in what year?
It goes into effect in 2013, so it goes into effect next year.
So if you sell your house next year, you bought it for $100,000.
Yep.
You sell it for $450,000. You're single. You made $350,000 of capital gains. Mm-hmm. $250,000 is non-taxable. That $100,000 is
right.
So you're going to pay $3,800 in sales tax.
Yeah, whatever. Yes, I guess they call it sales tax. You're going to pay a tax
right
on the $100,000.
It's not really a sales tax because it's
real estate
a tax.
Sales tax.
Now
here's one that I have noticed lately that has caught a few people off guard. The state of California has a withholding. It's not a tax, but it's anticipation you might owe the state of California. The state of California is holding, and I believe it's 3 1/3% of the gross sales amount if you sell an investment property. So, and this is catching some people off guard, and I have a client this week. So in the example that I was dealing with, I have a gentleman who sold his house for $400,000. Okay? It was an investment property. The state of California has a little form that fills out and says, we mandate that the escrow company hold back 3 1/3%. I'm almost positive that's right. So they're going to take out $12,000 or almost $13,000 in this transaction, and the escrow company is required to send that to the state of California, and the anticipation that he made money when he sold that property. And then what you have to do is you have to file your return at the end of the year and ask for your money back. So what the state is trying to do is get your money for free. Oh, you didn't have a tax? I'm sorry about that. Here's your money back. So this has been going around. This is not new. This has been going around for a long time. In fact, back in the day when you and I used to build houses and sell them as investments, one of the benefits of creating an LLC, a company that did that entity, is LLCs are not subject to the withholding, only individuals. So a lot of people would do their investment properties and that kind of construction, that kind of flipping, that kind of stuff. And this would go, if you're flipping houses, by the way, this goes to you too. So if you're not doing it in a business entity name, then they're going to hold back 3 1/3%. Well, for people, in the case of my individual, he wasn't getting any money out by the time he pays his mortgage out. So he was going to have to write a check for $12,000 and then go prove to the state of California, oh, by the way, I didn't owe you that. So it's a little bit of a rude, scenario there. Now, I don't know what they're doing on a short sale. Now, there is a part on the form that you can declare that I've lost money on this transaction or I expect no gain, and I think they will let you avoid that. But it's catching a few people now that off guard, and there's nothing more rude than having to write a check. I mean, basically, the state wants their money now, and they want to borrow from you for free. So, how are we doing on time there, Chris? We're good. Okay. So those are the two things that I got emailed a few times this week. So the 3.8% is accurate if you understand. It's going to affect very, very few people, but it is accurate. The state of California withholding has been a rule for quite some time. So keep that in mind. A couple of the points we'll go before we got to take the break for the hour. This is off a gentleman named Rob Chrisman. Rob does a blog that's famous in the mortgage world. In fact, for those of you that are in the mortgage business and that are originators, and I know a lot of you listen to the show, and I thank you for that. Rob Chrisman, if you don't follow his blog, you need to find him. Rob is going to be here with some other. We're going to hold I'm going to be a moderator for an event April 26th at the Arden Hills Country Club. I'll have more information on it. But it's an event specifically targeted to mortgage loan originators, people who do loans, originate loans in this business. And there'll be some very, very well-known people coming up to talk to us about looking forward in our industry rather than looking backwards. So it'll be, and Rob is one of these individuals that will be here, and I'm looking forward to that. But Rob sends out a blog. I made some notes here. Distressed properties as a percentage of sales were at a level of 20. Excuse me here. Let me find this. 29% discount compared to a non-foreclosed price. If you're buying a distressed property right now, generally you get it about almost a third less than its counterpart that is not a distressed sale. So you can see why the market has been so strong. Cash buying remains important in the market. About a third of all home buyers are paying cash for those properties, mostly investment properties. So that the cash is still king, and getting a decent price is probably going to be, if you can do cash, it's fantastic, but it'll get you a better deal. But there are some limitations to getting your cash back, so understand that. And then finally, off of his blog, and we'll take another break here, FHA delinquencies are running at 18%, or nearly 1 in 5 loans from FHA right now are in delinquency or in default. And that'll lead me to a discussion we'll have when we come back after the break. Some important changes coming from FHA. It's going to get more expensive again. They're going to have to figure out a way to finance these loans. And we'll talk about that when it goes into effect and how you can avoid that with the FHA program coming up. Let me go here to the text machine here real quick. Hey, Jeff, wife and I graduated with $20,000 in student loans. Got great jobs and paid them off. Quit running from your responsibilities. Being debt-free is worth it. Yeah, I don't think that I don't think the people who have good jobs are not paying their student loans. It's the people that took out a lot of the loans that didn't get hired or hired to the level that they thought they would get, that are having a hard time. And this is not a show about walking away from your debt. This is a show about pay your bills, but this is a huge problem, $1 trillion in student loans that are outstanding. Go ahead.
Hey, we did not get a winner yet. I gave out some helpful tips here, but question was, front runner pledges 75% tax bracket for those making over 1 million euro. And the question was, which country is this? So let's take the first caller. The answer is France. So if you know the answer.
If you know the answer of the France question.
Yep. Of which country?
339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. You can text us the answer to
Spain.
44-1140. It is not Spain. It sounds like pants. We'll be right back.